We're going to put this giant motor into this to build the world's fastest RC car. So this is the size motor that most RC cars have. Most people serious at speed runs use this size motor, but we're going to be using this. I don't think anyone's ever put a motor this size into an RC speed car, so no idea what's going to happen. So here we have some of the crazy parts going into this build. So next, let's get the car unboxed and start fitting some of those parts onto the car. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Kev, why are you building a second Project World's Fastest RC car when you've already got one and you haven't even properly ran it yet? I will explain a little bit later, but for now, let's get this car stripped down and get some of these goodies fitted. So to start off with, we're going to need to remove all the parts that we don't need, which is most of it. So going on to the front end, we have a alloy bulkhead, a scorched parts diff locker, and some carbon fibre parts from the Perfect Pass carbon kit. If you want to know where we can get all these parts from, and you want to know all the specifications and all the techno babble, I'm going to put a link to all of that down below. So next, we've got to rebuild this front differential housing with a diff lock and a aluminium bulkhead. Oh, check out the quality of that. So to get the diffs to be as strong as possible, we have to put shims in there. So on my one, I've got one shim on this one here, and I'll put a couple of shims on the pinion there. So we put all that together, and hopefully we get a good mesh. Look at that. Beautiful. So it's a little bit rough, but that's going to bed in. Let me finish it off with a little bit of greasage. So next, we've got some of these Perfect Pass carbon fibre parts to fit onto the steering assembly. And we've got a Perfect Pass carbon fibre shock tower that I forgot to fit. Now you can get these parts in the matte or in the gloss finish, and I opted for the matte version. Right, steering assembly. Also, I'm going to replace these bushes with some ball races. That's going to give us much smoother steering. So that's the front end complete. In a minute, we're going to try and figure out how to fit it onto this beautiful scorched parts carbon fibre chassis. But first, we've got to get the rear end done, and it's pretty much the same as the front, so a little bit of magic. So now that we have the front and the rear assembled, now we've got to figure out how to fit all this onto the chassis. We do have some instructions here. Oh look, we've got more parts that we don't need. Man, at this point, it probably would have been cheaper just to buy the parts we need and not a whole kit. But it's definitely a lot more simple to buy the whole kit. Otherwise, you've got to buy all these shock components, all the shaft. Next, we've got to fit the servo, and for that, we have a Perfect Pass super high torque servo. Look at that, 56 kilos of torque. Check it out, all metal cased, all metal geared. When you're going fast and we're aiming to go over 200 miles an hour, there's a lot of weight. Downforce pushing down on the front of the car. We need the servo to be strong to steer the wheels. So next, we've got to figure out how to mount this ginormous motor in here. Now, we've got this scorched parts special motor mount system, but no idea if it's going to fit that motor. We've got these Perfect Pass carbon fibre drive shafts. Check it out. They're lighter weight than stock, and by being carbon fibre, they're thicker, and it stops all that flap. When drive shafts start flapping around, and you really hear it on the infractions, when you go fast, you can hear it go, blah, 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 and that really robs a lot of horsepower. We've got two here, front and the rear one. These are stock lengths. However, there are no screw holes on the chassis for stock length shaft, so we're going to have to make some new holes. Then the speed controller that we're going to use, the Max 4, is absolutely ginormous. And we've got to figure out where we can put him and also leave enough space for lipos. Then here's the gears that we're going to use. So this here is actually going to be the spur gear that goes in there, and then this here is going to be the pinion to go on there. Yep. Beautiful. So this is my original Project World's Fastest RC car. As you can see here, we have 2 motors, 2 speed controllers, direct drive. With our new build, we're going with 1 motor, but check out the size of it. It's more than double the size. So, what's going to be more powerful? 1 big motor or 2 smaller motors? And you're probably thinking, Kev, why are you building another Project World's Fastest RC car if you haven't even got the original one over 200 miles an hour? This one we've actually gone 138 and it crashed because the runway wasn't smooth enough. And that is the problem that we have here in the UK. There's not many places to run these cars. And there's places miles away, sort of like 4-hour drive away. But the trouble is, there's a lot of development goes into doing these. So you could be taking your car out, 4-hour drive there, do 1 run, crash it, smash it into a million pieces, then 4-hour drive back home again, just to mess about with it to do it all again. So when I do these big journeys, I want to have multiple different speed cars that I can take with me, that if I crash one, then I can put another one out and then give that one a go. It's going to make more sense, I think, to do it that way. So this one is looking a little bit ropey for where we crashed it last. That does have a few battle scars here and there, but I want to make sure that the car's going to be stable first, and then once we get a good run out of it and it's stable, then we're going to rebuild it and make it all nice again. But anyway, let's focus on the single motor. So the gearing that we have on this motor should give the car a theoretical top speed of over 200 miles an hour. Trouble is, it doesn't reach. So we need to get a bigger pinion and a bigger spur gear, hopefully the same gearing, hopefully still get it to go over 200 miles an hour, and hopefully it's going to fit. But anyway, while we've got that on order, we can still go ahead and try and drill new holes into the chassis. So this is where the motor mount has to sit, and it's sitting on top of this piece of carbon fibre here, so we have to cut a little bit off. So here's a little trick that I got from Raz Schifrin. You use some double-sided tape, and then you can mark out the holes so you know where to drill it. And now look, we can perfectly see where to drill the holes. Next, we've got the speed controller we've got to put somewhere. I was going to put it like this. Doesn't leave us much space for batteries, so I think we're going to put that on its side. But we can't mount it yet until we get our new gears, because the new spur gear here may poke out. Then, we've got to fit the receiver box. I'm going to use the stock receiver box, but chop it up a little bit, and I think space-wise, it's going to fit perfectly there. Waffle, waffle, waffle! So we can't do much more with the chassis layout until we get the new spur gear and pinion to position everything. But we can put on spoilers and splitters. Splitter comes with the Perfect Pass carbon kit. Spoiler-wise, I'm going to use a Scorched RC Raz Schifrin Edition wing. Man, the quality of these parts are just absolutely perfect. Wheel and tyre wise, we're going to be using some proper foam tyres, but for now we can use the stock tyres. These can do probably round about maybe 140, 150 at a push. Perfect for shakedown run. And while we're waiting for those gears, we might as well go ahead and start mounting the body. Now this is a Ford body made by Delta Plastics. So next video, when the gears come, we're going to finish this build off and take it out for its first shakedown run. And then the video after that, if we can find a suitable location, we've really got to start looking now. We're going to really start attempting some world speed records with this. and with that car up there. At the minute, James McCoy has the world's fastest RC car at 204 mile an hour. So we got to get at least 205 to get that world record. So subscribe and smash the bell so you don't miss it.